Uganda Yancha.
Speaking, I want you to speak to those candidates, those university students who are actually preparing or anticipating to graduate very soon. I would love you to speak to them, those ones, for instance, who are going to sit for the exams P7, Form 4, Form 6, and the university students. What should they have to know, or what should they know in this situation? What should they do? And what should teachers, lecturers, and even the policymakers, basically speaking to the candidates and those ones, the graduates in waiting?
Yeah, a very, very good question. I know that if you are a candidate student, or if you are someone who is pursuing your degree and you are about to finish and you had maybe a few exams here and there, to call it a day, to say that, oh, I am done, finally. I know you're nervous, you're worried, you're disappointed, depressed. I can tell you one thing. The good news is that that certificate you're looking for, it is not what the world needs. That certificate you're looking for, it does not represent who you are. Who you are is the person you are and what you can do without even a credential. So I would encourage everyone out there to reflect on themselves. Think of your passion, your interest, your natural abilities. What can you do with the knowledge that you have accumulated? There are so many problems out there in the world. But if you look around with the knowledge you have, which problem can you solve? And start working towards that. The world needs problem solvers. The world needs someone who looks at a gap and says, I am going to fill this gap. The world needs people who are so innovative to invent and reinvent things that are actually going to deal with pandemics that we are faced with right now and bring life to normal. It doesn't necessarily it's not looking for credentials. I tell you this as someone who has more than 3 degrees, that I don't think I benefit from that much. I wish I could even donate them to anyone. And don't say that I'm telling you this because I first accumulated them, and that's why I'm saying this. I am just using experience. If you are a senior 6 student, if you are a senior 4 student, if you are a primary 7, listen to anyone who is advising you to read harder. And besides reading, don't care about the exam that you're not going to write. Go do something you're passionate about to solve a particular problem at any magnitude. Then perfect your game every day. Maybe tomorrow you'll say that every skill you will learn in this period that people have written off, if you can only commit to practicing it and deliver something you think it is solving your home's problem, your community's problem, people's problem out there, put your brains to work. Think of something. That very skill may actually reward you more than you'll ever receive from the credential, the certificates, that exam you're yearning so much to write or to receive as a credential. Because if you look around, and this is a fact, not fiction, most of the problem solvers that are remarkable, that we know, may not tell you that they have a certain credential. Either they have dropped out of school, or they have gone to school but abandoned everything they studied, and they came back to follow their passion and interest and their natural ability and crafted a solution to a problem in society. And now society is a better place because of them. And also remember that our forefathers and ancestors in this thing we call education, those who started education as we know it, have never acquired any credential. No degree, no exam they have ever sat anywhere, but they had the brain and they put it to work. They thought, they looked at problems we were supposed to face as the world kept changing, and they came up with solutions. So I am begging you and requesting everyone, read. Reading is great. It makes you a kind of a rounded person because you have knowledge. But challenge yourself. What are you good at? What can you do with what you know? What problem can you solve? When you look around, millions of problems we are faced with, what can you solve? You don't have to solve the world's problems. Pick one, and start working towards coming up with a solution. You're not going to succeed in a day. You're not going to succeed in a month or a year. You're going to fail. But make sure that as you fail, you are picking yourself up to walk again. And this is one terrible thing that education doesn't do for us. It doesn't teach us how to fail. Yet we know that failure is a fact of life. So, help yourself. Maybe what you're going to concentrate on right now in these COVID days where you have been told to stay at home, to miss your exam, to miss your school, to fail to graduate, maybe what you're going to concentrate on right now is going to be your job for the rest of your life. And you'll never need a job anyway. After all, a job, you are actually working so hard to make someone successful, which someone sat down and thought of an idea to solve a particular problem, so you're helping them to solve that problem. How about you come up with that solution? Because the world has not run short of problems. So I believe in you, I trust you, that this is an opportunity for everyone. So pick it up, embrace it, and make it happen. One day, you will thank me.
Very good. I would love you to actually, because that message I know it has, it's going to sink to actually in the minds of many people. Now, one of the second last questions, you've given advice or you've spoken to those the candidates and the graduates in waiting. Speaking of the policymakers, our leaders, our politicians, in this day and age, we know we can't live without them, and that's the fact. They do quite a good job to either lift this nation or ruin
or sink it.
Yes. Briefly, Doctor, what message do you have for them amid the pandemic?
So my message is very simple. I want them, I am calling upon everyone to put themselves in the shoes of these kids. Because for us, at our age, at our everything, we have done what we are supposed to be doing. And we have a few more active years, right? But these kids have a rich future. So the onus is on them, the onus is on us to plan an education that fits the days they are living in right now. So the days they are living in right now include the days of COVID-19 right now, where they can't go back to school, they can't write exams even when they are not necessary. So we should now start thinking, how best can we deliver education? How best can we empower these students? You know, as educators, teachers, like educators, even if you break down that word education. The role of an educator is to pull out that person. Not this person you see, but that person inside me that has to become something, to solve, help me nurture that person come out and flourish. So, can we strategize, you the leaders? Can we strategize, you the educators, to support, come up with the policies, come up with direction, come up with support that actually nurtures those people within these students that we need as adults, as they grow up, that we need them to become productive citizens. So you have to nurture them right now. The policy should look like the times we face right now. The policy should be able to prepare these students for the future that we don't know. Nobody knew how COVID will even look like because we didn't know anything about it. But there are some countries that have prepared themselves. That is what pains me most. That they are actually, this is a walkover for them in terms of educating like their students. What they miss is maybe an interaction of a teacher and like a physical one, an interaction of a teacher and a student, but they're still, I saw an image recently of where a teacher was in Japan interacting with closer to 500 students in his own living room, and he has a huge screen of these kids, and these kids are displaying what they have been doing in the projects they were supposed to do, and they're showcasing how these things work out. I looked at education, how it is supposed to look like in future. That nobody needs these fancy ivory towers and everything. That no, that this environment can be my classroom. That outside there, it can be my classroom. And I'll do amazing things using the real life context that I'm best in. So I encourage leaders, I encourage policy makers, I encourage teachers to take this as an opportunity to go back to the drawing board and rethink education and make it work for people, make it work for this country. Because today we live in a fourth industrial revolution where automation is actually coming to us, we like it or not, because these factories we are looking at that are supposed to employ people, time is coming when they will prefer employing robots, because a robot will never be sick, will never be late to work, will never require benefits, it will never require health insurance, will never require leave. It is there. So as a business person who has shareholders who expect a dividend, do I need to have 100 workers or do I need to have 100 robots? So I make more profit for my shareholders when I have robots. But we can educate our new generation to have skills that a robot will never have. When we go back to our drawing board, using this COVID-19 post-COVID era as an opportunity, as a wake-up call, to redirect how meaningful learning should look like. And that's when you sit back and you say, I contributed something tangible to this country. That I am a change maker. That I have done something. I have responded to that call when that my country needed me to do something. But if we are still planning an education that actually places these students to the past, to solve problems of the past, then we are doing a disservice to this country. I'll tell you an example. Something I just learned very recently. And it keeps me thinking that people really have brains. And the other question I was about to have, ask these people who shared with me this idea of The very novel, important idea of theirs they are developing. That is this anything they have ever studied? But I'll get a chance maybe one day to ask that question. So there are incredible people who have come up with an app. It's called Safari Share, which is actually revolutionizing transportation as we know it. How? Especially in this fourth industrial revolution era, where we don't have to think about jobs as they used to be. Someone comes up with an application that gives you an opportunity to earn money doing what you were doing anyway.
Without changing your job.
I was supposed to go to Entebbe to receive my mother who is coming back from Canada. But then I go to this app and simply make a post like there to say, you know what, anyone who wants to ride with me in Entebbe, because I'll be picking my mom, so you only need to pay this little. And then it's 3 people come ride with me. And then at the same time, I also post another one. I'll be returning from Entebbe at maybe 11 a.m. Anyone who wants to return with me. And some people also book. And then look at the money I'm making, going to pick my mother, right? And then coming back. But guess what? If I had not known that application, I would not have made that money. But I would have made the trip anyway, going and coming back. So, isn't that what we call education that adds value? Education that triggers your mind to become so creative, to look at a problem and come up with a solution. So, someone has looked at a problem where, why should I drive an SUV to go to Entebbe that is an 8-seater and then come empty-handed and then come back like that? How about if I go and benefit, say, 40,000 going back and I buy my fuel gas, and then benefit another 40 or 30,000 coming back, and at the same time fulfill what I was supposed to actually accomplish? It's not the Uber, you know. It's not Lyft, you know. It's not Safe Border that which takes you. No. It's me who is going downtown Loom Street to do my job. Using your car? Using my car. I'll go anyway. How about if I go with people who are going in the same area and I come back with them? Instead of burning your fuel, like driving an empty car. Exactly. So you see how actually if you do it on a daily basis, how you never touch your salary, actually you're facilitated to do your things, and then you have a job you have never applied for. That is what we call education. Education that pulls out that person who is supposed to be so creative and innovative to solve a particular problem, to fill in the gaps. Not an education that teaches me to have as much information about technology as possible, but I can't do anything with it. So that's the kind of curriculum that we have in this country, that I call upon our leaders to develop policies, to come up with support, interventions that create as many people like those that are solving the problems we face every day. Because anyone who thinks like that is ready to live in the future. Look at how many people is he going to actually, I don't even want to say employ, put money in their pockets. True. Doing actually what they were supposed to do. Just downloading the app. Using the same resources they were supposed to use. If that is not innovative, if that is not true education, then we are living on another planet. We should have an education that replicates, produces as many people as that, who will do that in transportation, in medicine, in name it, in tourism, in every sector. then you'll stop looking at people who are running around with envelopes looking for jobs, where you have education systems producing 100,000 graduates a year, and then the government is making it's creating about 20,000 jobs. Now, where do you put the 80? 20, I think it is even an inflated kind of figure. Something like 10,000, 90,000 is roaming around the streets. No one has an idea to solve any problem they're faced with. So that's where I call upon these leaders to support people like that,
Okay.
to create people like that. Policies that actually groom, develop, support, advance people of that caliber.
Very good. What could be your final remarks, Doctor?
I would think, again, I would say that everyone who is watching us, I hear you, you're frustrated. I'm frustrated too. It's frustrating to live in a house. Within, you think, you can't move anywhere, but you're locked up, you're locking yourself, you close your own door willingly, and you live in that situation for a month or even more. And when you want to travel somewhere, you can't even use your own boat. It's frustrating and it's painful. But I want also you to remember that we are confronted with something bigger. That these things we can sacrifice. There is a better tomorrow. And that's where I call upon our leaders to help us conquer a better tomorrow. So I would say stay safe. We need you, we need each other in the tomorrow that we don't know, such that we do even more amazing things. Thank you very much.
I think you've heard all the views Dr. Lawrence Muganga has shared with you. Of course, I know a lot. You've picked a lot from his views. Of course, he's part of my team. Our mentors actually sit down and ask frequently a lot of questions in regards to life. Now, here's COVID-19, and as per the World Health Organization, they say there is a second wave of this pandemic. Now the question is, how ready are you, or are you ready for this? Because fact is, to our leaders, most especially Africans, of course, at first we said this is a Chinese virus. At first we journalists said, of course, we reported about this. It was in China, Wuhan, and we said no, perhaps it won't migrate, it won't be transported. But guess what? The entire globe now has COVID-19. But the question is, if the second wave of the pandemic is here, how ready are you to solve it? Because of course we knew it in China, and if just a certain leader in a certain country seriously can't see that the lockdown matters more compared to economy, compared to the business. Yes, we all love to open up the economies, we love to revive our country, but life is life. It has no spare parts. So guidelines are here, measures are here, and of course many of you seem to take them for granted. But ask yourself a question. Of course, you would love to do quite a number of things, but not in the grave. And you wouldn't love to face that. I remain yours truly, Moses Wamala. But to our viewers, of course, via this channel, this program has been powered by Safari Share. You can just go to Google Play Store and Apple Store, download the app. You can actually be secure, safe, and you can run conveniently, or you can move conveniently wherever you are. I know this will end. COVID-19 will come to an end. And of course, I know there are many students, actually I do interact with a lot of campus students who have good rides. You call them like massive rides. You have hammers, whatever. I visited my friend at Nana Hostels, and he told me, look at my compound, or my what, they are all cars, but I can't move them right now. I'm doing my master's degree, but it's now useless. Just a sticker like this, it gets me all over the country. So it's time to rethink. It's not the papers which matter. Briefly, as I was speaking to Dr. Anindogu Shakasari, he told me, look here, Moses, these are not papers, just papers by the way, because papers are actually gotten surprisingly from trees. As we speak, they are not affected by COVID-19, but you who sits in the classroom is now affected. Listen, it took me some minutes to ask him, what are you meaning, doctor? He told me that, of course, you go in like to school, parents take you to school to actually help someone earn something, get his project running year in, year out. When they let you out of the university, they won't even manage to even say hi to you. They won't even hear from you. You made their project move. He gave me a question. What have you done to change the past we've seen, we've had, so that your kids, your grandkids don't emulate? Up to now, I'm still thinking about it. He told me everyone is very important in life. If you knew that you couldn't actually be friends with your neighbor, it's high time COVID-19 told the story to change the rhetoric. What am I saying? No one is supernatural. That's the fact. We've seen America, we've seen great and giant countries. They are now crying. They can manufacture the vaccines, but of course, God willing, if it stays here, the fact is they are still crying. But how long are we going to keep crying? My fellow Africans, it's high time we woke up. It's high time we started moving. If we actually, I remember once President Museveni saying that Africans have slept for 1 million years. Can you imagine? He is an African, he agrees, but if we've slept for those years, how many years are we going to take to say that yes, Africans have been awake for 1 billion years? That can happen. We shouldn't wait for a second wave to happen to just solve the problems. Time is now, sit and think about the future. Chinese actually backdoors, they're in their laboratories. Americans are in their laboratories. Canadians, what, everywhere. Scientists are inventing, are trying so much hard. You as an African, what are you doing? Are you on your smartphone sharing memes, sharing comedy, sharing, I wouldn't love to say nonsense, but what are you doing? I would love to put it at last. Yes, of course, the best thing now, universities are closed. So ashaming to me as a person who is a learned person, not educated just, that we shut down or we close down universities. Where are the researchers? Instead of investing in research, we are saying no, let universities close. As China, America, scientists and researchers are busy thinking for us. Yet we have the brains. My God, I think this reaches you and actually touches you. But we'll go on Play Store and Google Apple Store, you download Safari Share app. You can actually, this is our innovation. These are our guys, we need to support them. When Tony met me, actually I told him, yes, of course, there is no need to support and move and push international innovations. It's far better I promote this one. We can move, it's just on Play Store. I have just seen and confirmed that's very authentic, because it's now 2 months down the road me using it. If I have a vehicle at home, why don't I go with my neighbor somewhere? I don't tell you, or I'm not telling you that Safari Share is accredited to move right now amid COVID-19. No, they follow the guidelines, but after COVID-19, they will be back on the road to actually move with you, move safe, secure, and conveniently. My name is Moses Wamala. Till again.
Uganda Yancha.